Alright friends, we are going to be talking about 2 weeks worth of sales. This is from, let's see, August 19th, which was a Monday, all the way through September 1st, which was a Sunday. This was not the best 2 weeks of sales, but also not the worst. Like, I think we're still generally kind of moving in an upwards trend with like a little bit of a dip. This is a little dip, but then I think it will continue to go up from here. And while I didn't have that many sales, there were a couple sales that were on the higher end, which is always exciting. So let's get right into it. Hi everyone, my name is Becky Park. I am a part-time reseller and my full-time job is teaching high school choir. And in the weeks that we're going to talk about in today's What Sold video, that is where the majority of my time and energy was going, was getting back into the groove of another school year. And this is a big school year for us because not only is it my 10th year at this particular school, I think 15th year teaching overall, but my daughter entered middle school. We are in a whole new era in our house, okay? And one of the biggest reasons why her going to middle school is super significant is because of the fact that before, when she was in elementary school, her and my son went to the same elementary school where my husband teaches. And that was so nice and it was so convenient and so easy because he would just take them with him when he went to work and they would just hang out in his room after school until he could come home. So that was really easy. But now we got a whole new building that we have to throw into the mix of our morning commute. And so figuring all of that out has been quite a struggle. And just always like getting things ready for the beginning of the year. There's always a lot to do, a lot more than I always anticipate. And so I did find myself in the days leading up to these 2 weeks, and even in the first few days of these 2 weeks, I just found myself not really investing a lot of my time and energy into reselling, and that's because I had other things going on. So sales, while there weren't very many, some of them were pretty great, and I was really thankful for that. So let's just jump right in, and we're gonna start by talking about Tuesday, which was August 20th, and that's because on Monday, the 19th, I had no sales. So on Tuesday, on Poshmark, I sold this pair of Lululemon Athletica black athletic pants in a men's size extra large. They did have pockets, they had like reflective strips on them, and those sold for $30. I had gotten them from a garage sale from a friend of mine. She comes into town usually like 2 times a year, does a really great garage sale with her mom, and she typically will sell things to me at wholesale pricing. And so I was able to get this from her for $5, and my net profit on those was $19. These I have had, though, for like probably at least half a year, maybe a little bit longer. I have gotten many lowball offers on them and a lot of attention, just like no real serious buyers. And so I was very thankful when this sale finally went through because there's been a lot of activity around them, just nothing that actually results in a sale. So excited to see those gone. And then on the 21st, no sales, but on the 22nd, which was a Thursday, and I think this was the first day that I actually like had freshmen in class with me. But on Poshmark, I had a pretty great sale, and it was this pair of new with tags, Ralph Lauren, blue Ultra Flex 100% linen trouser pants in a men's size 33 by 30. I have, even right now in my basement, this bag, or maybe it's a bin now, a bin of men's pants. All of them are kind of like career pants. The majority of them are vintage, like 90s or 2000s. And they are all from my mother-in-law. So she just had all this random clothes. Some of it was my father-in-law. Some of it was stuff that like she just has gotten from people. And she gave me all of this stuff. And I'll be honest with you, like I have not been motivated to get through that bin of pants because they're just kind of boring. You know, they're like career pants, they're slacks, they're dress pants. They're just not like super exciting. But I forced myself one day to just like list through a few of them. This was one of them, and I listed it for $100 because I realized I could. I was like, holy cow, like comps on these are really high. So I listed them for $100. They sold for $80 on Poshmark. I didn't have any money into them, so my net profit was $64. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the kind of motivation that I need to get through the rest of this bin of pants. Like I know there's some money in there. They're just so annoying to list. And I'm sure at this point, a lot of them are like super wrinkled and I'm going to have to go in and like steam them, but it's worth it. This sale showed me that it's worth it. Also on the 22nd on eBay, I sold this Huck Icon X cold front fishing blue quarter zip pullover shirt in a men's size medium. Huck, I believe, is a great fishing wear brand. I find it like decently, and some pieces that I find by this brand do really great. Like I have found waterproof boots that you wear in the water while you're fishing. Those did phenomenally. This was okay. And this one had some like pulls and stuff on it from what I remember. But this did sell on eBay for $16. It was promoted at 3%. And I got that as part of a reseller buyout last June. And so I had $3 into it, and my net profit was $9.01. So I don't know, maybe if it's like a little bit more substantial of a piece, like a Huck fishing vest, or like I said, the boots are great, those kinds of things, definitely worth the pickup. But these kind of more simple pullovers, they probably have to be new with tags and in pristine condition for them to be worth at least my time. And then on the 23rd of August, which was a Friday, on Poshmark, I sold this Anthropologie Mauve LE Kaleidoscope side tie wrap tunic top in a size medium petite that I had picked up in May at a pop-up consignment sale. I had $4 into it, and so my net profit after it sold for $25 was $16. I just thought that was really pretty. I know that a lot of Anthropologie pieces don't really sell for as much as they used to, but I really like the style on this, and I was happy with that flip. That was everything that sold for me in the first week of sales. Like I said, it was rough. I just, contrary to what I said at the end of last week's video, which was,
I'm being so good about listing consistently and blah, blah, blah.
This particular week, that was a lie. So I had been doing decent, getting back into the groove of things. This week, I really did a terrible job. Since then, I have been doing much better. So the second week of sales that we'll talk about, there were no sales on the 26th and 27th, or the 20, there was, let's see, 24, 25, 26, 27. There was a 4-day stretch of 0 sales. And I don't even know if I noticed because I was so busy. I think I also had like a retreat at my church. I don't know. There was so much going on. So I didn't even notice that there were no sales. I certainly didn't mind in the sense of like, I don't even know that I had time to ship them if, things were to have sold. But finally on the 28th, which was a Wednesday, I had a decent number of sales. The first one being on eBay. And this sale was especially great because it had sold earlier in the summer and been returned to me, and then it sold again. So that item was this Ted Baker blue geometric print short sleeve button-up shirt in a men's size extra large. I don't know or remember how much it sold for the first time, but this time around it sold for $14.90. That was an offer that I sent out to watchers. I had $3 into it from a local consignment store. I don't remember when I got it, but my net profit on that was $9.45. Also on eBay, I sold this pair of Good American, Good Legs, indigo high-rise skinny jeans in a women's size 10. I was very happy to sell those because I knew even picking these up in May at the pop-up consignment sale was a little bit of a risk just because skinny jeans are a hard sell right now, but I was able to sell those for $35. They were promoted at 3%. I paid $9 for them at that pop-up consignment sale, and so my net profit was $20.75. So Good American still, selling for decent money. I used to be able to sell them for like $50, $60, $70 even in the past, but part of the reason as to why these sold for a little bit less, I think, is because of the fact that they were skinny jeans. Also on the 28th on eBay, I sold this pair of Russell Athletic Team Issue Red Rails track pants with an ankle zipper in a men's size large. Those sold for $14.99. They were promoted at 3% as well, and that was something that I got a while ago, like during lockdown in COVID. I got it from a fellow reseller who just realized as she did more reselling that she did not like reselling clothes. So I bought all of her clothing inventory off of her. I had about $2 into everything. And so after those sold for $14.99, my net profit on those pants was $8.67. Russell to me is not an exciting brand, but I think I just went ahead and listed these because I feel like track pants in general can still do pretty well, and these kind of had like a little bit of like a 90s Y2K vibe to them, which is why I listed them. Also on the 28th on Poshmark, I sold this Talbots brown 100% merino wool waffle knit button front sweater in a women's size large. That sold for $29 on Poshmark. I had $3.47 into it. I did pick this up in May of 2023, so I've had that for a while. It's been listed for a while, but I did finally make my net profit of $19.73. In last week's What Sold video, I sold so much Talbots. Like, it's crazy how much Talbots sold. And in today's video, I only have this one Talbot sale, but Talbots, I've been you know, consistently picking it up, even still listing it, and it consistently has been selling pretty quickly. And even like my older Talbot stuff has been selling through. So I don't know, it's like my number one bread and butter brand for a reason. This is that reason. It continues to show up and make good money for me. On the 29th of August, which was a Thursday, on Poshmark, I sold this pair of Athleta Salutation Cargo Mauve joggers in a women's size large. I did put words like athletic and athleisure in the listing title. These I probably should not have picked up. I picked them up at my local pop-up consignment sale in May for $15. That was way too much money to spend on these. They did end up selling for $30, but my net profit was only $9. So had they been like $5, maybe even like $7 or $8, I think that could have been a decent pickup. $15 for these was just way too much. I think Athleta makes really high quality clothing. It just doesn't resell for that much, which is kind of sad, but it's a truth that you need to know and understand as you are sourcing so that you don't make the kind of rookie mistakes that I just made. And then on the 30th of August, which was a Friday, on eBay, I sold this Eli 1878. I had never heard of this brand prior to listing it, but it was this plaid pearl snap button-up embroidered shirt for men in a size extra large. I did put the word Western in the listing title, as I do oftentimes when something has pearl snaps on it, but this item is part of my very first reseller buyout that I probably did in like 2019. So I've had this for a long time. And actually in last week's What Sold video, I also sold an item from this buyout that again was from a very long time ago. I cannot imagine that I have very many pieces left from this particular reseller buyout, but I only had $1.02 into this item. It sold for $10, and so my net profit was $6.65. And it only took like 5 years, so, you know, big win. A for real big win though was on eBay, also on the 30th of August, and it was this pair of Jaded Gypsy paint splattered buttons. They had like an interesting silhouette in that they were like super baggy around the hips, but then they just kind of like folded over the bagginess and like pin tucked. I don't know, it was so interesting. And they were in a women's size small/medium. I did definitely put the word login look in the listing title. I could have also maybe used like art to wear as a good keyword, but these I picked up at the consignment pop-up sale in May. I paid $30 for these because I have a lot of experience with this brand, Jaded Gypsy, and I have a lot of good experiences with it. I have sold Jaded Gypsy pieces quickly and for good money. This item, actually, I got like a few pairs of jeans when I went to this consignment sale in May. That was the last time that I went. And I'll be honest with you, the jeans are what have been taking the longest to sell, and also among the things that I have priced the highest probably. A lot of the t-shirts and stuff like that I got from Jaded Gypsy, those sold like right away. But the jeans have been taking a little bit longer to sell, but these did sell for $90. That was an offer that I got. I think they were listed for like 100 or 110, so 90 I thought was super reasonable. They were promoted at 3%, but even with me having paid $30 for them up front, my net profit after fees and my cost of goods and all that stuff was still $46.48. So Jaded Gypsy, just generally a really good pickup, even if you have to pay up for it. You probably won't find it that much because it's a little bit more of like an obscure brand, but it's definitely worth it if you can find it. It does have a following. On the 31st of August, which was a Saturday, on eBay, I sold this Karen Kane haute stuff red long sleeve A-line dress in a women's size large. It had kind of like a watercolor print to it, and this was something that I got for free a while ago from America's Thrift Supply. They had reached out about working with me, and they were gonna send me a box of dresses to unbox on my channel. The unboxing did not go well. Like, the majority of the items in that box were things that I just couldn't resell. Like, I was not gonna make enough money to justify the amount of time that it would have taken for me to photograph and list those items. So a lot of those items went to, you know, local shelters, but I was able to salvage, I don't know, maybe like 20 to 30 pieces from, it was at least 100 items in that box, I want to say, if not more. And so I listed a handful of things, this being one of them. It did finally sell on eBay. Shoot, how much did it sell for? Let's see. I wrote down the full price, but that includes like shipping and all that stuff. So it sold for $24.99, which was my full asking price, which is pretty great. Like, I don't think I was expecting that. This, in my opinion, was not like the cutest thing in the entire world, but also keep in mind that I did that video at least 2 years ago, if not a little bit longer ago. So this wasn't a quick flip by any means. It was definitely listed for quite some time, but I did eventually make $21.55. I didn't have any money into it because they sent that to me for free to show you what a micro bale of dresses from America's Thrift Supply would look like. I don't know that I helped them make any sales on their micro bales of dresses from that video, but yeah, I did get it for free and that was my net profit. Also on the 31st on Poshmark, I had a really cool sale. So I had never heard of this brand before. The brand was called Think with an exclamation point. And this was clearly vintage. So it was a pair of vintage Think black leather wool sock ankle winter boots in a women's European size 41. These, I think, were made in Germany. I could be making that up. I don't know. But they had a very like European sensibility about them. They were just so cool. And I had picked them up at a garage sale last Labor Day. So like basically exactly a year ago. I have a friend of mine who I've become friends with because of shopping this garage sale so often. She was kind of a reseller for a while, but she just has a really good eye and loves to go thrifting and probably thrifts a little too much. And so she will bring a lot of her thrifted items to her mom's house for this garage sale twice a year. And I went a couple times and she kind of noticed that I was buying a lot of stuff. And then I think she actually saw a haul of her stuff from her garage sale on my YouTube channel. And that's when we really connected. And now she'll just call me when she's in town if she's brought stuff so that she can sell it to me at wholesale pricing. And even when I go to her garage sale, she usually cuts me a pretty good deal. So I got these at that garage sale. My cost of goods per item that particular day was $4.77. These sold for $65 on Poshmark. And yes, they did take some time. Think with an exclamation point. I don't know that it's a very popular brand that a lot of people know about, but they were just so cool. And I knew that I just had to be patient and wait for the right buyer to come along. And that person did absolutely come along. And so my net profit was $47.23. And then on the 1st of September, which was a Sunday, on Poshmark, I sold this Gap blue checkered, the lived-in wash button-down shirt in a men's size small. I sold that for $20, which I was pretty surprised by because generally speaking, these kind of more like casual button-down shirts, they're a hard sell for me. There are a lot of them listed online. And then for a shirt like this from Gap to have sold for $20, that also is something that belonged to my husband. So yes, we did pay for it initially. I don't remember how much we paid for it years and years and years ago when he bought it. I'm just saying for now that we didn't have any money into it. And so our net profit on that was $16. So again, I really hate listing this kind of stuff. I have a lot of it in my basement waiting to get listed, but sales like this motivate me to keep listing those kinds of things, even though I find them incredibly boring. But the last sale of the week was my best sale. It was just the perfect way to go out. Also on Sunday the 1st on eBay, I sold this pair of Fry Phillip harness black leather tail riding boots in a women's size 7B. They had a full zip on the side. I had picked these up in December of 2023. So yes, it's been a while. And for me, Fry no longer sells very quickly. A lot of that could be due to the fact that I do tend to list Fry pieces high when I find them just because I'm like super excited that I have a Fry, piece in my closet. But I paid $16 for these at a local consignment store, knowing that the value was there. They sold on eBay for $109.99. I don't know if I was running a sale. I don't think I was running a sale. I think I just dropped the price to $109 at that point. And so with me having $16 into them, after, my cost of goods, after eBay's fees, my net profit on those boots was still $82.36. cents. So that's why I like to price Fry up a little bit, and that's why I get so excited when I find especially knee-high riding boots from Fry. They're just a great pickup. They tend to do really, really well. You just might have to sit on them for a little bit. So that was everything that sold for me in a 2-week span right when school started. I sold 15 items in that 2-week span for a gross sales amount of $656.65. My cost of goods for those items was $96.24. And so my net profit over the span of 2 weeks was $395.90. That was not as good as my last What Sold video where I did make more than $400 in 2 weeks, but I sold far fewer items and I had more items selling for more money. Like I had those boots that sold for $110. I had those Ralph Lauren pants that sold for $80. I had the that pair of boots that sold for $65, and those Jaded Gypsy pants that sold for $90. So I had a good number of higher price sales, like 5 of them. And although the rest of the sales were like pretty average, obviously if you can sell things for more money, you want to do that because it's less work and you're still making good money. So those were my numbers. Those were my sales for those 2 weeks of sales. I hope that you are also seeing some higher price sales. And if you are, I would love to hear what kinds of things you are selling in order to, sell things for like $50 or more. Let's educate one another. Let's share with one another down in the comments section what has been your best sale. I think that's always a really fun thing to learn from one another. So if you got this far, thank you so much. Maybe reward yourself by hitting that like button. I think that's a good way to go out, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.